for Shop Talk. We're looking at that very popular Husqvarna 372 XP chainsaw, 72 cc's. This one features a lightweight organ bar, very nice bar. They're very expensive. Those bars are $175. They're 2 pounds lighter. You see the aluminum insert in it. Very popular for cutting timber. And that features a new 3/8 pitch chisel bit skip tooth chain. That's a skip sequence, skip being the spacing between the teeth. You can see we have spacing there. It's a very popular chain, 63 gauge. And we'll look at some of the features this saw has. Kill switch is right here on the left, red button. Choke is up here on the right. It also functions as a high idle. When you pull that choke lever out, it also trips the lever and gives you throttle on that carburetor. The reason that is, it keeps you from trying to trigger this and try to start it all at the same time. You trip this, put this on the ground, use the foot pad, get good grip on the handlebar, push in the decompression valve on the opposite side, and you can start this high compression motor. On a warm start, it has a nice feature. You pull the choke out, push it back in. Do not touch the trigger. What you've done now is you've activated the high idle. And you can hear a clicking noise. When I touch that trigger, you'll hear a clicking noise as it goes down to an idle. Hear that little click? That took it down to an idle. So on a warm start, you've had the saw running. Shut it off for a minute. You want to restart, pull the choke out, push it back in. Don't touch this. Set it on the ground and start it, and you've got high idle. It's easier to start the saw that way. Has a throttle lock. This won't throttle up until you activate the lever here. That's a safety feature. That, if you were running this saw and you set it down and left it running, which you shouldn't, what has happened in the past, without this, a limb would get in here, trip that trigger, and then you had a runaway chainsaw and a handful. So, to get around that, they've got this feature here, operator presence lever. It won't throttle up until your hand's in place. Side load on the fuel reservoir, and the oil reservoir is right up front here. It is isolated vibration motor mounted, which basically that's just some wording that means that it's got the mounts in it here, the steel spring mounts. Less fatigue on the operator, easier on your hands, just a good feature. This is a large hand guard and chain brake. Works as a hand guard just to keep your hand slipping off from running up and getting in that chain, and it's a chain brake. It stops that chain instantly. It's also inertia activated, which that means if you're cutting and you get a severe enough kickback, jerking action, and that tip touches something other than the wood it's cutting, it touches something out there on the front, there's a jerking reaction, and that reaction will activate the chain brake. That is the inertia. The wrap handlebar, real nice feature. Dual ported muffler, very popular feature. You got a port up here and a port right here. Makes this more of a high performance motor. 2 falling spikes, inside and outside. Chain tensioner is right over here. Loosen the 2 bar nuts up, and right there. That is your chain tensioner. Just tighten that up. The blue button is a decompression valve. We talked about that earlier. Press it in. When starting the saw, it always pops out, so every time you restart, make sure you push that in. Just a very big, powerful, professional chainsaw. If you need to cut some large wood, It's a very nice chainsaw.